Hi BookTube, I'm here with a tag video today, and I'll be doing the How Do You Find Time to Read tag. This was created by Working Man Reads, so I'll link the original video in the description bar down below. So let's just start. Where is your favorite place to read? Everywhere. I apologize, I have the window open and there's a bird squawking out there. It's pretty, I like it, but I apologize if you don't. Anyways, outside, when it's nice out, I love to sit out there and read. I would like this year to get some more comfortable chairs to go out there, if the budget allows. On this couch is one of my favorite spots too. But I think nothing really trumps reading in bed. Just because, like, you can be in so many different positions, you know, lying on your stomach, lying on your back, lying on your side, sitting up in bed, you know, propped up against the wall, or just, you know, my favorite actual position is leaning forward like that to read. Getting so engrossed that, you know, your back is all arched and you have back problems because you're in your mid-30s and working a physical labor, so that's a whole other thing. So wherever I am, regardless, I'm, you know, bent over the book. I don't know how I can read like that. It's not as comfortable, or like this. I need those special glasses that have the mirror in them so you can hold the book down here and lean back. Yeah. Anyways, I think bed would be my ultimate favorite. If I could bring the bed outside, that would be really cool. But I don't think our deck's big enough for my bed. Okay. Number 2, do you read every day? I try to. There are days where I don't, but I think those days are few and far between. And that's mostly because when I'm working and like when I'm driving in the car, I have an audiobook on constantly. I used to listen to the radio or like music on my phone or whatever, but I drive an awful lot, so it got really repetitive. Even like the talk news stations, it was just the same thing over and over again, and I was just like, I need variety. Yeah, so at least for my audiobook, but I do try to read. My ideal day would be like 200 pages a day, and I read that across a variety of books, so it's a lot easier than just sitting down with one thing and reading 200 pages. But even if I just read like, you know, 5 or 10 pages just before bed and end up falling asleep, I still consider that, you know, reading, right? So yes, read every day. 3, do you read aloud to any family members? Not really, no. You know, my other family members like reading, but they're all adults. I don't think they would really like me reading out loud to them. I talk about my books with them, or to them. And sometimes my cats, if they look at me while I'm reading, I'll be like, okay, you want to listen? And they'll leave after I read like a paragraph or two, or lie down or something like that. So no, not really. Cat's looking out the window. She loves it when the window's open. Well, it's a sliding door, so she loves it. Yeah. And she's sneezing. Do you have allergies? Number 4, favorite career for a character to have. Well, I'm working class. I grew up working class. My dad, I grew up, he worked in a factory, and my mom worked a variety of things, but mostly what I remember her doing is working in a dental place, as she made like mouth guards and stuff like that, and that kind of stuff. She worked in the lab. That's what it is. Yeah, so and I am myself working class, so that's the careers I like to read about, and you don't often find true working class characters. You have characters who are working class, but written by obviously not working class people, because these people are suddenly like dropping work to go fly off across the country, and I'm just like, who's gonna pay rent? You're missing a week. How did you afford a plane ticket? Like, anyways. And he asked us to give an example of a book that has that in it. So I said working class or unemployed people, like poor people. I like reading about people who are struggling financially, but that's not like the goal of the book. And I don't like books where it's just like, oh, and then suddenly I, you know, became CEO of this company and it's magic and hard work, and I'm just like, no. No, 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 no. That's not the way it works in real life. So I wrote Of Mice and Men was the first one that popped in my head. Of, you know, working class. That was during the Depression, so it was like real out of poverty there. Raskolnikov in Crime and Punishment. There's an example of someone with an education still being working class, which is relatable. Owls Do Cry, which was my favorite book from last year. The family was working class. I believe it was during the Depression in Australia too. And the family mostly remained working class except for one sister who married up in the social ladder, and she became very ashamed almost of her working class origins and trying to hide that and trying to appear, you know, higher class. And she was super concerned with that. So that was also an interesting perspective to read there too. The Death of Vishnu, that's about, see, I have, like, he's not traditionally employed. Let's say that. He does, you know, errands and stuff for people, and he lives on a doorstep, not a door, landing, that's what it's called, on a staircase in an apartment building in, India somewhere. I can't remember the city it takes place in. But yeah, that was really interesting to read about. And when he traveled, he stole a car. So, like, you know, that's more realistic instead of like buying plane tickets. I don't like coming across people who are like unemployed and poor and then all of a sudden, you know, have money for a plane ticket to I don't even know a specific book that happened in, but I know that happened in a book that I read and I was just very disappointed with it. I'll stop going on about that. Recently I read Johnny Appleseed, which was about a sex worker actually, but like not like still working class, not making enough money, struggling to come up with rent, you know, struggling to come up with money to get back home. So yeah, those are some examples there. Do you read at work? That's a complicated answer. So I work in home health care. So I drive from house to house, and while driving, as I said before, I listen to audiobooks. So, and technically I do get paid for my driving time, so I guess technically, yes, I do read while at work. Yeah, and then there's times where we have these things called respites. So it's like the family works, or the family just wants to get out of the house, or the family wants to go grocery shopping, but they can't leave their loved one alone. So we're there for anywhere from you know, 2 to, I think the longest one is like 8 hours. So you bring a book with you because unfortunately, you know, sometimes the people we see are dying, or they're, you know, they want to go have a nap in the middle of the day because they're old and you're left there, you know. I feel awkward watching other people's TV when I'm supposed to be working, unless the person I'm with is watching TV. So you bring a book to read. Or there are cases in those respite cases where you read to the person you're taking care of. That's part of their care, is they want to read but they can't for some reason, so you read aloud to them. So yes, in a very convoluted way, yes, I can read at work. And last one, tell me what book you're going to read today. I read lots of books at once, and I've been really, I see it down here. I've been really drawn to this Stargate Atlantis Mirror Mirror by Sabine C. Bauer, sorry. This is really well written. I'm not surprised because the other one by James Follow that I absolutely loved, it's like one of my all-time favorite novels, even if it wasn't Stargate Atlantis. Like, that book was so well written. And this one too, it's about multiverses colliding. So if you know anything about Stargate, I would love to be on Stargate. Even as like, I was like, I could be a janitor. I'll go live on Atlantis. Oh, what was I gonna say? Yeah, this world, if you don't know, I just think everyone has, like, knows Stargate, and it's like, you don't know Stargate. It's a science fiction TV show where you can travel to different galaxies, using these big round rings called Stargates. And this one takes place on the city of Atlantis, and, the villain in the Stargate Atlantis is called the Wraith, and they feed off of people. So like they have this slit in their hand and they attach it to your chest and they like drain the life out of you. And if you stop midway, then you like aged up to a certain point. So like they age you super fast by like, I guess they suck the years off your life like in Princess Bride. But in this novel, they find an artificial intelligence on Atlantis, like a true artificial intelligence, who is giving them this device that will allow them to stop the Wraith from evolving in the Atlantis galaxy. But obviously that gets screwed up and all these multiverses start colliding. It's really good so far. I'm really enjoying it. So that's the primary one, and I've already talked about it long enough to talk about any other books. But I do read multiple books at a time. I'm thinking if there's any right now that I'm reading that are about working class people. Editing Courtney here, and I usually just do voiceovers, but I thought I'd come in here anyways and do this. Yeah, I'm reading another book, really good book, nonfiction book, about working class people. And it's Silver, Sword, and Stone by Marie Arana, and it talks a lot about Latin American history, but she relates it, each section about silver, sword, or stone, to a contemporary person, to her, and they are working class. So for example, in the first one talking about the history of like gold and wealth in Latin America, she relates it to a miner, and the way this illegal mine works is that you work 30 days without pay, but on the 31st day, you get to keep whatever you find in the mine. So that could be, you know, a half-decent payday, or it could be like nothing. Yeah, and then this one that she's talking about in the sword section is about a man who was so affected by the revolution and growing up with all this violence and being so unsettled, he resorted to a life of crime and then got conscripted to fight in Angola, and then forced off Cuba into the States, and he's obviously working class, or as well, well, below working class, in the poverty line anyways. So yeah, that's a really interesting book. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Okay, yes, I'm gonna stop there. Tag everyone the way I usually do, is just if you're interested in doing it, do it. You know, don't wait for someone to tag you, just do it. I didn't get tagged by anyone, so here we go. Let me know the answers to your questions down below if you don't do videos, and thank you for watching.